All right, so let's talk about what is on the Ostara altar. One of the ways that you can think about how to include what you want to include, what you want to maybe leave off for Bailton, to think about what is starting to become new right now, right at this time of the year, what is just beginning or re-emerging. Um, and one other easy way to think about what to include in your Ostara altar is to start with the colors and themes that surround you, and that kind of are in movement in the coming spring. Some symbols of the vernal equinox include eggs, fresh flowers, soft pastel colors. And because there are equal hours of light and dark, more or less, at the equinox, this is a time of balance. So, what items can you use that reflect the ideas of harmony and or polarity for you? Something else you can think about is what you want to create for yourself this coming year. What seeds will you plant? What intentions will you set? Again, with regard to the colors, you can do a couple of things. You can look out the window and you can see maybe the bright blue sky or the sun. Maybe if you're in this part of the world, maybe you want to maybe not look down to the ground if it's brown or gray. Maybe that doesn't give the kind of guidance that you're looking for. But you can even think back on maybe fast forwarding a few weeks down the line, again, remembering what is coming, the buds of flowers that will be opening or bulbs that are going to be finally kind of coming into bloom. Pastel colors, of course, kind of anything that has been traditionally thought of as associated with spring or with Easter is a good place to start. And you can probably find, you don't have to sort of go out and purchase all sorts of like bolts of fabric or anything unless that's fun for you and you have, like I do, a Joanne Fabrics coupon. But you can probably find a scarf or a piece of cloth in a lovely light color that can serve as an altar draping and or provide the backdrop for some of these other elements, for the symbols, for the eggs, for the figurines, if that's what you have. In a pinch, I've used colorful blankets and decorative towels that have patterns and fringe on them for various seasons. So I kind of like to use my altar creation every month as a chance to look through what I have and see how I can repurpose it. And it also saves a lot of money. Give the idea of giving new life and new purpose to objects that I've collected. So not just the fabrics, but also stones and shells and little collectible things that pull on me for some reason, and that maybe for a while I set aside to bring something else into rotation on my altar. Sometimes it's good to look back through all of that stuff and see what you already have that's appropriate, even if you haven't been collecting it with the purpose of placing it on an altar. I'll even go sometimes through kitchen utensils, glass bottles, just to add some kinds of like pops of color or different shapes and textures. But again, this time of year, we're thinking about balance and harmony, masculine and feminine, light and shadow, above, below, within, without. Think about what represents balance for you. Maybe it's a certain symbol that you can draw or find a rendition of. You can draw it and place it on the altar. Potted plants are beautiful for your altar at this time of year. Seeds in pots or even just seeds in a dish. Bulbs for daffodils and lilies and crocuses. Of course, a basket of eggs, decorated or otherwise, real or ceramic or plastic, whatever kind of looks beautiful and bright. Another couple of elements that you can place that you would want to watch maybe a little more closely, but a chalice of milk representing that it is calving season. Honey is a symbol of abundance, and food items on the altar may be more or less practical depending on who you have living in your household, human or animal. Other symbols at this time of year: caterpillars, ladybugs, bumblebees. If you're someone who really likes to work with crystals, a few of the crystals that are really powerful at this time of year: aquamarine, rose quartz, moonstone, lemon quartz, and labradorite, carnelian as a symbol of the cycle of life, especially for its kind of physical energy that can boost creativity to begin new projects. And as always, candles, maybe I always like to have at least one white candle, usually two, kind of set up on opposite sides of my altar, but bringing in the colors of the season this way as well. And in fact, in the spell that we're going to be doing, we'll be working with a purple candle, a yellow candle, and a green candle. So that might be something that you can just incorporate into your altar and already have there. And then a dish of water to represent the element of water, a dish of earth or of salt for earth energy, some incense that you can burn to represent the element of air, and then the candles, the flame in the candles representing fire. So just a few examples of how you can adorn your altar for Ostara to honor this exciting time of year as we're transitioning into spring. And now, if you go away and do a little bit of organizing of your altar, maybe take a few days, come back. Once you get your altar set, you can move into doing the spell for Ostara. And you can do the spell, of course, even if you haven't set up your altar, but kind of presenting this information in a way so you can get things really set up if you want to really kind of anchor in that energy in an even more meaningful way that can also bring some wonderful energy to your home or to wherever you are doing this work. And again, as I mentioned, for the spell, what you'll need is 3 candles, purple, green, and yellow. You'll need an egg, this time a real egg, a pencil, a journal or notepad, and potentially a pot and some water for boiling, depending on how you choose to close the ritual, because I'll give you a couple of options. So I will see you in the spell module.